it's Nancy with Nancy's Nibbles of Life, here to bring you another Simply 5 recipe. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I had a lot of new subscribers recently. Thank you so much for clicking that button. I'm so happy to have you here. Again, welcome. So, one of the things that I recently decided to do was to cook my way through the Simply 5 WW recipe book. And today I have a really good one because it's a shrimp recipe and I love shrimp. It's been so hot where I live, I don't know about you, but the thought of simply grilling some shrimp, and also I'm going to bring you a salad from the Simply 5 cookbook. So a shrimp and salad recipe sounds right up my alley for this warm, hot day. But before I get into this video, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, leave me a comment and a like. That way I get to know what you're thinking. I get to know whether or not you've tried the recipe. Any feedback you have, I would really love that. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and we'll get started on this wonderful shrimp and salad recipe from the Simply 5 cookbook. Let's go. Okay, the first recipe that I'm going to bring you is the green sauce marinated shrimp. Doesn't that sound good? Take a look at the picture. Those shrimp are so delicious looking. So again, it says a green sauce marinated shrimp. The recipe serves for, I'm going to do it for 2 today because it's just my husband and I, and in all likelihood I'll probably eat both servings, but I'm going to make for 2 today instead of 4. So I'll be halving some of the ingredients, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But for the points value on this recipe, for the green pan, it's 3 points. For the blue pan, it's 2. And for the purple pan, it's also 2. So I don't know if you know, but on the blue pan, the shrimp is 0 points. So, and I believe also on the purple pan, I could be wrong, but that is probably why the recipe has an extra point on the green pan. So let's talk about the ingredients. So it calls for nonstick spray, which I have. It calls for flat leaf parsley, which I'm going to be using and today and probably throughout the course of some of these recipes, because you know I would rather have the dried ingredient in my cabinet rather than the fresh. Take the chance of not having an ingredient and then having to run out and grab another one. But I just bought these, so they should be taste-wise pretty fresh. But so I have some parsley flakes. So instead of the flat leaf fresh parsley, I'm gonna go ahead and use this dried. The other ingredient is basil, and it's the same thing. I'm going to use a dried basil instead of a fresh basil. If I had the fresh, I would certainly use that. But because a lot of these recipes, the ingredients can repeat themselves, again, I would rather have the dried herb rather than risk not having anything or having to run to the grocery store for one item. That's kind of time consuming, right? And the point of a 5 ingredient recipe is simplification. So I'm going to stick with my dried herbs today. The next ingredient is garlic, which I have some minced garlic here. Another time saver, it's already minced for me. It says 4 teaspoons of olive oil. I'm going to use 2 because remember I'm going to cut this recipe in half, so I'm going to use 2. Some salt, pepper, of course, and then some shrimp. And it says lemon wedges. So I have all of those ingredients here, and it calls for a marinade, this recipe. So we're going to go ahead and marinate these shrimp first because the salad, we can chop and talk about that when we get to that step. So let's marinate these shrimp, and we'll talk about these lovely shrimp that I picked up from my favorite Trader Joe's. Okay guys, so this recipe calls for, like I said, shrimp, and it calls for 1.5 pounds of large shrimp, peeled and deveined. And so what I have today is the raw Argentine red shrimp from Trader Joe's. It comes in a package like this. I've opened it already. I don't want them to fly out of this plastic bag, but you can use whatever shrimp you want. Again, I'm using the raw Argentine red shrimp. I like these shrimp. They have a different kind of taste to them, and very sweet shrimp and just really delicious. Okay, so they came frozen, so I had to go ahead and defrost the shrimp, but I don't know, I have about maybe just short of a dozen shrimp here. And so again, I'm going to use these shrimp, and the recipe says that marinate the shrimp along with the parsley, basil, garlic, and salt and pepper. So let's do that now along with the oil. But I'm only going to use 2 teaspoons of the oil because again, I'm halving this recipe. So, and it says to do it in one of these Ziploc bags. So let's dump our shrimp. There's a little water in there. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to use 2 teaspoons because the recipe calls for 4. That's 1. And that's 2. All right. Now, I'm going to toss in some of this dried basil. So what I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball it to where I think that it will sufficiently cover the shrimp. That's the basil. Here is that dried parsley that I mentioned to you. Let's see if I can get the bigger hole to open. There we go. Okay, I think that's good. I love garlic. Do you? I'm gonna put, this is my teaspoon measurer. Probably gonna overload this sucker and add maybe 3 scoops of the garlic in here because again, I love garlic. That's the garlic. And the recipe calls for salt and pepper. There's some pepper. And then here's a little salt. All right, that's good. All right, guys, so it says get it in there really well. And then, oh my gosh, look, already that looks good. And then once you get it in there good, take out all the air from the Ziploc bag, roll it over, and way you ensure the ingredients stay on the bottom of the plastic bag and get all wrapped up in your shrimp. Seal it up good. And then it says refrigerate up to 1 hour. So I'm going to throw this in the fridge, let this marinate. Okay, guys. Then we'll move on to our salad. Okay. Okay, guys, moving on to the salad portion of this meal. This is a separate recipe in the Simplified cookbook, and it sounds really good. It's called the South of the Border salad. So no pictures of this salad, but I'll go ahead and read to you the list of ingredients on this salad. It says 1 Poblano chili. I have never used a Poblano chili the way that they are asking us to in this recipe, so I'm really excited about that. 4 cups of lightly packed romaine lettuce. 2 cups of jicama, matchstick size. I don't know about you, but I love jicama, so we'll talk about that. Some grape tomatoes and a black bean corn salsa. All right, so those make up the ingredients of this South of the Border recipe. The good part about this recipe, there it is, South of the Border, is that it is 0 points across all plans. The green blue, and purple all have these big, beautiful, shiny zeros across them. So who doesn't love a 0-point recipe and salad? So the first thing that it calls for is a Poblano chili. Look at this shiny, beautiful chili, Poblano, that I have here. And so it says to line a heavy rim baking sheet with foil. Place the Poblano in a prepared baking sheet and broil 5 inches from heat, turning occasionally to char. And then after about 5 minutes, transfer the chili to a small Ziploc bag and let it steam for 10 minutes. So if I had an outside grill, I would probably, go ahead and attempt to do this on the grill. But we don't have to. The recipe calls to do this in the broiler in the oven. So again, I'm going to take this Poblano, throw it under the broiler, and let it char and get really dark. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, all right, let's go. Let's try this. Okay, while that Poblano starts to roast, I'm gonna turn it, let it char up. In the meanwhile, let's cut our romaine lettuce and our tomatoes. Okay, and then we'll move on to the jicama. Okay, so I got my romaine lettuce and my cherry tomatoes in the bowl, and now let's move on to the jicama. So I don't know if you have ever used jicama in your cooking or just in your salads, because it is a very starchy vegetable. It's almost like a root vegetable. Here it is, and you could find it, pretty readily available. And it almost tastes similar to it's a cross between, I would say, a very thin russet potato and cucumber. So what it is probably made up of 90% water, because you bite into it, it's very crispy. It's kind of a starchy taste, but it's a very fresh taste. And I do love it to put in salads and things like that, because again, it satisfies that crunch factor. And sometimes on Weight Watchers, you need a crunch, right? Because the crunchy things that I like, you have to really use sparingly, like potato chips or fried chicken. So things that have a crunch, sometimes you really need that to satisfy that desire to munch down on something. And the jicama is a good choice. Jicama is a good choice. So I'm going to cut this up into match size. I'm going to only use half of this, and peel it and cut it up and throw that in the salad. Okay, so watch me. Okay, I'm gonna taste this jicama. Maybe you can hear the crunch. Yep, like I said, actually now I probably would change my taste profile to more of a cucumber slash pear. I think pear would be a good similar kind of texture to compare the jicama to. So, okay, that's it. Let's check and see how this poblano is doing. Oh yeah, it's nice and charred and it smells really good. Wow, look at that. I'll bring it down so you can see what it looks like. Look at that. Okay, so smoking really good. And again, it smells so good. So what I'm gonna do is, per the instructions of the recipe, while it's hot, throw it in this Ziploc bag so that it can steam, cool down a little bit, and then we'll chop it and add it to our wonderful salad over here. Okay, all right, let's move on. Okay guys, so it's been about an hour. I am working from home still, so I was able to sneak in and get a few emails answered and do a little extra work while those shrimp were marinating. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw them on my grill pan and get cooking on that, and then we'll finish with our salad. So again, these are the green shrimp, okay? And this is what they look like after they've marinated for an hour in the fridge. All of those seasonings have gotten into the crevices of the shrimp. So, all right, let's move on over to the grill pan. I can't wait. Okay, as you saw, I was able to get those shrimp off the grill. They smell lovely. I cannot wait to bite into those a little bit later. But let's peel this poblano pepper so that we can move on with our salad and finally taste this dish. Okay. Okay guys, you saw me chop up that poblano and place it in my salad that already has the romaine lettuce, tomato, the jicama, and the last thing that the recipe calls for is a black bean and corn salsa. So this was really simple. I had a can of black beans and I just rinsed those beans. I had some frozen corn in the freezer. So I opened up the corn, placed it in a strainer along with the black beans, and while I rinsed the black beans, I sat the frozen corn on top and allowed the water to thaw the corn kernels. So I'm gonna put the black bean and corn salsa into the salad and toss it up, and then I'll throw those shrimp in and then we'll give it a taste. Okay, ready? Okay guys, it's time for the taste test. So again, from the WW Simplified Recipe Cookbook, today I made the South of the Border salad, and that recipe has poblano chili, romaine lettuce, matchstick cut jicama, grape tomatoes, and black bean salsa with the corn. And I also made the green sauce marinated shrimp. So with the parsley and the garlic and the basil, salt and pepper. So now it's time to dig in. So guys, look at this salad. Wow, that looks so yummy. There are the shrimp, the jicama, the black bean salsa with the tomatoes. One thing that I'm going to do now is spritz some lemon on top of these shrimp. I'm going to give this shrimp a try. Mmm. That's good. You know what I taste is the most pronounced flavor is the basil. So imagine if I had some fresh basil. That would be delicious. So let's try some of this jicama, and something that I'm also really anxious to try is that poblano pepper. Wow. And you know what, guys? I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little spicy. So if you're not into a spicy pepper, I would say omit the poblano. I don't remember it being that spicy. I'm okay with spices, but if you're not, yeah, it would bother you. So look at that. There's more pepper with that shrimp. Let's try it again. Just like I said, on a warm, hot day, these last dog days of summer, nothing wrong with a shrimp salad. You know, this flavor profile would work with any protein that you wanted. Maybe you had some chicken breasts, which are 0 points, just like the shrimp. Maybe you have an allergic reaction to the shrimp, and so you got to use another kind of protein. I would totally swap chicken out for this. So again, this is a 0 point salad. I didn't even put any dressing on this salad, but I have a feeling I'm gonna run into my fridge and get some Italian or something, because I do love a little dressing on my salad. So the salad was 0 points, and the shrimp, again, if you are on the green plan, it's 3 points. If you're on the blue plan or the purple plan, it's a 2 point shrimp dish, and that was, I'm sure, because of the oil. So guys, thank you so much for rolling with me today, again, on another Simply 5 WW recipe. And if you like the content, don't forget to give me a like, leave me some feedback, and let me know what you think of the recipe. Would you be trying it on your own? Or would you sub some of these ingredients for something that you would rather have other than the ingredients that I produced here today? Okay guys, I'm gonna sign out for now and enjoy my salad, but I'll see you on the next video. Bye!